Kia ora, good morning. I'm a bit tired. I've not had much sleep, obviously, but I had a dream. Now that that's out the way, what everything that happened this morning. Now that that's out the way, I had a dream that I was flying through space, like I was some sort of comet or shooting star, or I don't know. But there were like UFOs flying past. I was seeing all these planets and galaxies and Milky Way and that. I mean, it makes sense because of Orion's belt and all that being present today. And we've got that eclipse coming up. I hate eclipses. Anyway, it's because I'm tired. But I have to get this out because it's part of the dream. So I was flying through the universe. It was like black and blue and green and, like your typical universe colours, purples and yellows. And it was absolutely beautiful, absolutely cosmic. It was so beautiful. I was a rocket. I was like a human rocket. And I was flying through the universe and weaving in and out of like wormholes, and it was absolutely magnificent. And I had these flying craft with me. Now, I don't believe in UFOs. To dream of UFOs and aliens actually means the Midas touch, being blessed with the Midas touch. If you dream about UFOs, you're being blessed with something that's out of this world, that's something with something extraordinary, right? So this is how I know I'm on the right path, because like I had a purpose and I knew where I was going. I couldn't see what I was. It felt like it was just like my mind in physical form flying like a rocket at the speed of light through the universe. And I was weaving in and out of wormholes, and I had all these like different kinds of craft in that flying alongside me. So even in my dream, when I was dreaming, I knew I was being told, yes, you've done it. You've made it. This is it. This is it, Debbie. You're on the right path. This is it. Don't stop. Don't look back. Just keep going. And then as I'm flying through the wormholes, I could see the first sign being made. I could see the amber rose being made, and it's like I was sitting, as I'm flying through space, it's like I had a big projector in front of me that was showing me my future and the order with which everything was going to go as I was going through each wormhole. Like I had a VR helmet on in front of me, but the VR helmet was my eyes, and the screen was in front of me, but the screen in front of me was me flying through wormholes. And each wormhole was a different project, was a different movie, was a different production, was a different thing. Now, there was like the Soul Collector video game, which I've got to work on. I really have to perfect that one. There was, what else was there? There was the first sign, there was the Amber Rose, there was the music box, the Legend of the Flung Shoe Master. I can't remember what else. I know there were other video games and stuff like that, but the ones that stuck out are the ones that I'm working on at the moment, or just finished working on. Mountain High was another one. That's my suspense thriller. And it was like I was unstoppable. I knew I was being told, you've done it. This is it. This is your path. This is where you're headed. And I landed while I was, how do I explain it? As I'm flying through the universe, as I'm flying through the wormholes, in one of the wormholes I landed in front of this house that had been turned into a movie set, and I've been sitting there trying to figure it out, what I was being shown. And it's that I think I'm going to be making the music box before the foundation is fully built, and it's going to require having to shoot some scenes in actual neighbourhoods. And it was one of the final scenes in the movie. It was one of the parts in the movie that my sons really liked. My son said, like, this is really good. When my son, when his eyes light up, because he's got the same writer's mind as me, when I was coming up with certain scenes, there were scenes that I was thinking of in my head that I didn't write down, that when I told him and my baby, my youngest, the storyline, they came up with the exact same things that I'd been thinking of that I hadn't written down. And that's how I knew, like, holy crap, like, this is actually going to be a thing, because it's like they instantly could see what I was saying. And when I was telling the storyline, my son was, what about if you, and I was like, can you just let me, I said, you need to let me get it all out, and then I want your opinion on it, and I'll sit with my pen and paper and write your ideas down. But I knew I had to get, like, I needed to get it all out, how I had it set in my mind, because I'd been going over how I was going to tell them the storyline and all of that, because this one is really important to me, because of the promise that I made to my eldest, Thomas, in regards to our first Halloween. And I guess I wanted to impress him. Like, look what I've done for you, baby. look what mummy's doing, sort of thing. I wanted to impress him, because my boys, like me, they grew up, they like horror movies. It's something that I passed on to them because my dad handed that gift down to me. And it was important for me to get their reaction, because this is going to be the first horror movie that we make. And when his eyes lit up and he sat patiently, and I knew he was wanting to interject, and then when I told him the ending, and he was like, that's really good. You know, because you're not going to be able to guess the endings and the plot lines and that to anything that I write, because my horror movies, my movies and that, they're not formulaic. They're not like anybody else's movies. Because I want people to be shocked and surprised and psychologically affected. I want them to go away and think about what the hell they just watched, you know? And when I was telling them the ending, and then he gave his opinion, my youngest just sat there quietly. He's the observer. He just takes it all in. He's the Gemini. My eldest is the Capricorn. And then he said, well, what about this and what about that and blah, blah, blah. And then he was coming up with the same things that I had been thinking but didn't write down. And that's when I knew I'd hit the nail on the head. And then my youngest popped up, and what about this? And I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. I was thinking about that, but I just, you know, because the reason why I hadn't written anything down is because it's involving things that I'm worried about getting sued over. But we can be generic, if you know what I mean. We'll have to be generic and not, you know, like, yeah, the Temu version. We're going to have to be generic. So I was floating. I don't even remember getting home yesterday because I felt like I was floating, like I was on a high, because having a meal with my babies and then getting their opinion on it and then them joining in, it was like I felt like I was home. I wasn't aware of the surroundings. I was stuffing my face with a cheeseburger because I don't have to worry about gluten allergies anymore. And it just felt like I was in a different world, a different reality. But the reality that was always supposed to be me and my boys going out for a meal, you know, and being together and writing and collaborating and all of that. That, you know, and it's like, oh, I just want to get to America and have a home with my boys where we can do things like that. Go and get a burger and then come back and finish writing and playing video games and, you know, having fun and doing all the things we were supposed to be doing before shit hit the fan, so to speak. And in this dream, I landed in this, in front of this house, and there were cameramen and, you know, people fiddling with lights and microphones, and there were people touching up the makeup of the actors who were going to be there. There would be 3 actors, the ballerina, the old man, and the old man's granddaughter. And they were having their makeup touched up, and they were, you know, and action, and then, you know, the fake rain and all of that sort of thing. And I just remember thinking, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I made it. I can't believe this is actually happening. I can't believe this is real. And then I woke up. And now I'm sitting here thinking, this is why I love what I'm doing, because my actors are going to have to be from all walks of life and all ages, because the main character, I suppose technically the 3 main characters, one's going to have to be a young girl of around about 18, 19, 20. The other one's going to have to be a young woman of about maybe 22, but she's going to have to be a ballerina. She's going to have to know how to do ballet. She's going to have to know how to do ballet. Like, she's going to have to. She's going to have to be a ballerina. I mean, not, you know, she's going to have to know how to do ballet. And an old man who's going to be in about his 70s. He's going to have to be quite, you know, like physically active, and obviously nothing too taxing, but he's going to have to be a man who's with it, who's corpus mentis and fully capable of learning lines and that, but he's going to have to be someone who has no experience with acting. And if he has, it's maybe theatre production, you know, community theatre. And the cool thing was, you know, with the thumbnail, that's from the movie adaptation of the Tales of Hoffmann. And that particular scene that you see, I've put the link in the thumbnail below, because not only is that the music playing in the music box, but it's also going to be the title music. But I'm going to have, when my orchestra play it, it's going to have to be slowed down and turned into music box creepy. So when you listen to it, imagine it slowed down, sounding that music box kind of, you know, tinky, tinky, tink, 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 tink kind of sound, but creepy, a little bit distorted and creepy. And that's going to be the intro music to the music box. I can see it all so clearly now. And obviously, we're going to be making this before my foundation is fully built. Because we were filming like in a normal residential street. So, how exciting. I need to get filming permits, and it was kind of like a neighbourhood not unlike the Amityville horror house, the DeFeo house was in that kind of neighbourhood, but with like bigger house, like well, yeah, bigger big houses. That kind of age of the sort of houses that the Amityville house is built on, but with big houses, obviously people with money, but not mansions. God. Anyway, so yeah, so my three main actors, one's going to have to know how to do ballet, one's going to have to be an old man in his 70s. He has to be of the age where he would have been at college in the 70s. So, yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited. It's like well, yeah. I was going to say it's like I've got magic in the palm of my hand, but that's exactly what dreaming about aliens means. The Midas touch, that you have the power of magic in your hands, and whatever you create with it is going to be magical. It's like my hand is my magic wand, and what I write with it is bringing worlds to life, which would be going down the wormholes. So it's like, I must have already come out the other side of the portal. Because I wasn't even focused on what was behind me. I wasn't even acknowledging what was behind me. I was just zeroing in on what was in front of me. And what was in front of me was the movie sets and the video game playthroughs, and watching things being performed on stage. Like my cosmic whale. Maybe I was the cosmic whale. Because whales are the they're the keepers of time. They're the timekeepers. Like mother and father time, mother and father ancestry, the guardians of children, the guardians of magic. Maybe I was the cosmic whale. Cosmic whale hurtling through space. So maybe when I had that dream about the cosmic whale, I was dreaming about myself in this dream now, projecting myself into the future back in the past, which would also be aliens and UFOs out of this world. So anyway, so when we do the casting call for that movie, the main characters are going to have to be a man in his 70s, a young girl, not quite 20, and a young lady in her 20s who can do ballet, who have never acted before other than maybe community theatre. And then I get to hand the music over to my orchestra and say, right, now make it creepy. Make it music box creepy. Anyway, I'm going to go. I just had to put that down. It's just all getting so very exciting. Oh, I feel like any moment now I'm going to be landing on the shores of New York. Oh, I've just realised Cosmic Whale, flying through space, my Nana's dream, with Maui and his brothers and the whale. So the whale they brought up from the depth of the ocean must be the cosmic whale. And that'll be why my waka was on it. So I'm the cosmic, or I'm at one with the cosmic whale. My mum would be able to explain it a hell of a lot better than me. She was always so very eloquent when it came to explaining dreams, and like when she was teaching me how to read teacups and coffee cups and palms and all that, being a Virgo, so graceful and so eloquent when it came to teaching me that side of my indigeneity. Even though tea leaves and palms and that were my dad's side, the Arab side, it was all of that lot that did all of that. But Mum was the mistress at it. She'd be able to explain my dreams so much more eloquently than me, like the symbolisms. But I'm doing my best, and I've only had a couple of hours sleep in like 48 hours because so much has been going on. It's almost like I'm being pushed to the finish line and I'm not allowed to stop. I have to grab everything as it's happening while it's happening. The final push across the finish line, almost like get this out the way and then you can rest when it's done. I put this off too long. I was distracted by social media, thinking I had to put everything out on social media. And it was almost like God and the ancestors were like, right, so we're going to remove this from you because you need to focus on the important stuff, which is getting all of this written down. Don't just talk about it, do it. Because when your feet land in New York, you're going to hit the ground running and everything's going to kick off all at once, so you need to be prepared. So we're taking this away from you, we're taking the distractions away from you so that you can get all of this down, because what you're doing is important, this stuff is good, you're on the right track, and now you're on the right track, it's time to put your plan into action, which is exactly what I've been doing. So all this last week, I've been getting all the three main projects in that prepared and ready to go, so that when I find my crew on the other side of this journey in New York, I can just hand it to them and say, now go, do it. Like, help me get these people, help me get the staff, let's do this. The things that I can be doing while the school is being built. So, yeah. So now I need to work on, I've got to get the Soul Collector, our video game, out. I can't do the Quantum Menace video game until the movies are out. At least the second one. I want to make the second one first, the superhero movie. So I can't really do that video game until the movie's out. So I'll focus on the Soul Collector for now. I've got the mini games already written out and ready to go. So I need to focus on the Soul Collector video game. Because that'll be the first video game we work on after we make my apps, my dating app and all of that. I can do this both at the same time, I'm pretty sure. So it's all systems go. Thunderbirds are go. I love it because Thunderbirds are one of my First Nations gods. Okay, so Thunder is my voice. That's what he said my name. That was my given name. Thunder is my voice. Because when I speak, the ground shakes. I'm getting nervous, but I'm excited as well. So I'm going to go. Things are about to change really fast and I need to get ready. I just hope my boys want to come with me. More than anything in the world, I just want us to have a new life, to start again without any worries, any fears, not having to worry about money, doing everything that we want to do, experiencing everything we want to experience, and like creating magic together, because That's how it's always been with the three of us. Since homeschool kindergarten, we've been creating magic together. And my partner's in crime. But if I'm in America, it means I got justice and Chris has been held accountable for what he did. But they're also at that age where legally they can decide what they want to do with their lives. And I'm hoping that they choose to start a new life with me and my sister and that in America, where they get to make video games and make friends and have phantasmagorical social lives and help me build this empire that they're going to inherit. So I'm going to go. So have a wonderful Saturday and I'll speak to you later. Ka kite. Just think, the Tales of Hoffman, but slowed down, and music box creepy. When you click on that link, like, oh my god. I'll speak to you later.